I said I was going to take my slingshot and make it into a bow fishing rig, and here it is. I got a zip tie around the top and then an angled zip tie at each end to hold that from sliding and tighten it up, and then I've got two little pieces in the middle for an arrow rest. Piece of 1/2-inch PVC pipe that I've zip tied to the arm, and then just an old scrap fishing reel that I had laying around that I hose clamped on there. An old arrow that I had laying around, which that's not the tip I'm going to use. I was using that to practice, just to see how far I could shoot. And I could shoot about 20 feet with this thing pretty accurately. And my pouch, I just put a hole through it and put a piece of paracord through there and tied a knot in it so that I can grab a hold of the paracord and draw this thing back to shoot it. Now, the way I've got the line attached, I'm using 20-pound spider wire, which is a easy braid spider wire, and I come down the shaft about 8-10 inches, and I put a logger's hitch. Come on, focus. All right, there you go, logger's hitch knot, and then I just unscrewed the tip and wrapped the line around the threads, you know, in the gap, and then I just tighten the tip up, and it seems to hold pretty strong, and the harder it pulls, the tighter that logger hitch knot locks down. Anyway, we're fixing to hit the creek and test this thing out if we could see us some gar today. On the creek, I'm going to go ahead and run me a few brush lines for some catfish, and I've got some 75-pound tarred braided line, a little bit of chicken with some Kool-Aid on it, and I'm just going to find me some breast piles and drop offs and tie it off there. And while I'm waiting on anything to hit this, I'm going to be down here trying to shoot me some gar with that homemade bow fishing rig. I didn't even bring a fishing pole with me right now. You know what, I'm just going to wing it, have some fun, relax. If I get something, I get something. If I don't, I don't. So far, nice. Now, if you go on up creek, I don't know if you've ever been up through here too far, but if you go on up around that bridge, it gets down to about 2 foot. So it gets pretty shallow up that way.
I usually go up to the bridge, that's about it.
Yeah, well, the bridge is probably going to be about 3 foot right about now because the water's up just a little bit. But yeah, it's a nice little creek to go fishing in. There's a bunch of gar hanging down there at the opening of this creek. I'm going to get in there and try to shoot some with a slingshot. Yeah, they're 4 foot long, 3 and 4 foot, man. They're monsters. But they're actually a bunch of small ones that come all the way up through here, and I've seen little schools of them.
This is a big old bluegill.
So you sponsored, or I mean, that's
I work for Rackley Roofing, and just a bunch of them.
Oh man, yeah, that's good enough for a fish fry right there.
I've got 20.
Nice. Oh yeah, that's some good ones right there.
I bass fish up Center Hill.
I usually just go around through the creeks, go catfishing, and you know, go after gar, stuff like that. And you know, I leave the bass for the guys that like to make money, because there's a lot of tournaments around here, and I pretty much just leave them alone, because I'd rather eat a catfish on the grill anyway.
I went Friday night to Center Hill up there at Edgar Evans. I ended up, I think I had 1796.
Nice.
Got first.
Nice.
So I went last night. Had maybe 8 pounds, 3 fish. Woke up this morning dreaming of bluegill.
Yeah.
I come down here every year, man, about this time after the full moon.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So where are you from then originally?
I'm from Smith County over here.
Oh, okay. All right, so we're right in your area then. Yeah, I'm out of Hartsville, Trousdale.
A roofing company. Actually, we're probably the largest in the southeast now. You know, do all commercial roofing.
Yeah.
Pretty big company.
Yeah, it's Rackley Roofing.
Yes, sir.
Free advertising right now, man.
That's it, baby.
Yep.
You know, there's a lot of followers on my pages and stuff.
Bluegill jumping right over there too.
Yep.
But yeah, yesterday I saw a school of, oh shoot, 9, 10 bluegill bigger than your hand right over there by that snag that's sticking up on the right down there. And they usually hang up real good down there, but if I'm running brush lines, I'll get in there and catch some bluegill and, you know, catch and release them and, you know, keep 2 or 3 for cooking. But yeah, they're all up and down through here. They're thick.
A bunch of garrs. I caught, I think, 3 largemouth coming up through there.
There's some good bass in this creek. A lot of people don't go bass fishing up through here. And
the old bango blade, you ever seen it?
What's that?
It's a spinner bait.
No, no.
That's some cool spinner bait. That's actually what.
Oh, okay. Yeah, see, I had some like that I got real cheap.
Yeah.
And I took the skirts off of them and put some nylon rope on them for a gar, but they're too interested in breeding than, you know, to hitting anything.
That right there is what Wesley Strader won the lead event with. That bango blade by Zorro.
Yeah.
Pretty good. Runs true, smooth, a little different head. Got a fin like it on a surfboard.
Yeah. Yeah, it's got that keel going.
Thin wire.
Shoot, there's some bluegill just jumped right up there too.
Good vibration.
Yep, there's another one jumping up there.
I caught. There's 20 in there.
Nice.
I've just been sitting right here. I come up through here, seen them ones jumping behind you there.
Yeah.
Some old worms, man.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, if you get a hold of some red worms, I mean, they'll tear them up. They got that stink on them.
Yeah, I've been having a fight with those.
Oh, yeah.
Just to give it a little oil.
Yeah. Now, them little red worms, if you can find some decent size, I mean, they just, you throw it out there and they hit it about as quick as it hits the water.
There's some big carp right down there, too, in them shade lines.
Yeah, yeah, I've seen the big carp running the bank. And all right, well, man, I'm going to let you get back to it and get out of your hair. I'm going to run on down creek, throw me a few more lines, and then try to shoot me a gar or two. And
I was thought, man, I could lay up here on the deck, turn the radio on, and just lay back.
Yeah, I've done it. I've come up here, and whenever the water's down, there's a good gravel bar down that way. And shoot, I've come out here and spent the whole weekend, just camped out all weekend and caught what eat what I caught, and just camp out, throw my hammock up, and just relax.
There's some big old cats in here.
Yeah, they are. I mean, I've had, I didn't get eyes on him, but he snapped a 75-pound bank line.
I believe that.
There's some good catfish in here, just all these drop-off banks all the way up through this creek. Anyway, man, we'll see you later. I'll get out of your hair, let you get back to it. Yeah. There you go. There's your bluegill.
Big in your hand.
Yeah, that's eating size right there.
Pretty good hand.
And but you just threw it out there. It's about what, 3 seconds he hit it.
Yes, sir. When it's hot, it's hot.
Yeah, it is.
Right after this full moon, these brim going bad like this. They'll do it May, June, July,
Yeah.
and August.
I see up there in Gallatin, I got a little creek I pull off in and go fishing. And shoot, was it last summer? I sat up there and I didn't want to catch nothing. I just throwing out to be by the lake, and I was sitting there reading a book, and I didn't make it through 2 paragraphs in that book, and I was out there 2 hours. And every time I throw out, those catfish had hit it, and I was bringing in 2-3 pound catfish, and people were getting mad.
That took about 2 seconds.
Yeah, if that.
Riverbank, can't beat it.
Hey, anyway, whenever I post this up, man, my YouTube channel is Hillbilly Holler. It's just a little bitty channel, but yeah, I'm getting started. I got about 90 subscribers right now, so I'm still small time.
I'll give you one more time.
Hillbilly Holler. Yeah, now I got some repair videos and kind of a mixture of all kinds of weird stuff. And then, you know, this will probably be the second fishing video I put up there. But hey, I mean, you know.
About 30 minutes earlier. About 30 minutes earlier, it was bam, bam, bam.
Yeah, well, that sun's come out a little bit, so they're kind of slacking off a little bit. They'll start back up here in a minute. Probably about another hour whenever it starts cooling down some.
Little ones.
Anyway, I wish you luck, man. I'll be on down creek and shoot, that limb that's coming out over there. If you see that thing shaking, there'll be a catfish on that thing. Go ahead and grab him. You know what I mean?
You get him and I'll film it, baby.
But shoot, if that limb up there starts shaking, you know, you can have whatever's on that hook. It'd probably be a, you know, a couple pound catfish. Really? Yep. Well, you take her easy, man, and enjoy. All right, man. That was a nice guy right there. That's the way fishing should be. There shouldn't be no fighting and arguing and all that like you see on some of those, you know, those tournament fishing. You know, you just shouldn't see that kind of mess. Anyway, whenever I run my bank lines or my brush lines or whatever you want to call them, I look for drop-offs. And if you see, this whole creek down through here has got a lot of drop-offs because I want that drop-off mud bank. And that's where those catfish are going to lay up and make nests. And like that little cove right there, you see that cut that cuts back? There'll be probably a catfish hole up in there, which I fished it before. So I fished it last year, so I'm going to leave it alone this year. But I look for brush piles like that. They like to get in that little brush pile. And, you know, logs laying down in the water and stuff like that. But if you're going to go down through here and run lines like I do, and you see a limb hanging down and you want to tie it off onto a limb hanging over the water, take my advice and smack that limb with a paddle first, because there'll be spiders on there. And that's the only time I've ever really flipped this kayak, is a spider jumped in my face. And he jumped down in my kayak, and me and him got to wrestling and fighting. And I tell you what, he was tough, man. Boy, he had a hell of a right hook. But we got to fighting and everything. Look at there. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 gar right there. Little bitty ones right there, but there's some there. Anyway, no, there's 4, 5, 6, 7 of them there. And they're hanging out with a bluegill. Anyway, me and him got to fighting in the kayak, and he got me in a daggum headlock, and I couldn't break it. So I wound up flipping the kayak to, you know, break his hold, and he got mad because he didn't want to get wet, messed up his new hairdo. And I guess, I don't know, but anyway, I broke him. You know, I broke loose from him and got away. But anyway, I just dropped a slip knot over that with a piece of that chicken that I've seasoned up for the catfish. We'll see what we get there. Alright, we'll be honest about the whole ordeal with the kayak flipping over. I went up to a limb and I was going to tie a line to it. And a spider fell in my face, and I screamed like a little girl and jerked and flipped my kayak over in the creek. So, but I like the other story better. There, man, there's 1, 2, 3 good bluegill, bigger than your hand there. But yeah. Anyway, I like my other story better than I do the true story on how I wound up dumping my kayak for the first time. Here's something else I look for whenever I go and run these lines. You see the cut on the bank there, and then you look up that way, you see that grapevine in the water there. That'd be a good spot right there to put one. Man, I just saw 3 more gar right there on the bank. You know, right up at the bank. There's another one there. It's hard to see on camera, but you know, anyway, they make a dark line in the water. But they're moving around, so maybe we get a shot or two with one, and maybe we get us a catfish. Who knows? But I'm kind of leaving the cut banks and the brush piles alone and kind of going out away from them. All right, there we go. There's 1, 2, 3 big gar right there. Oh, that was a good one. But I'm going to get down here in the sunny spot and run my lines. Well, I'm going to run me another line or two, and then I'm going to go down here where it's all sunny and you can see them a little bit better. And then I'll take a few shots at one and see if I get any luck or not. And I doubt I'm going to have any luck, but if I do, I don't even have any daggum pliers. So, or no gloves, I'm sorry. I got pliers, I don't have no gloves to grab them with. So this might be interesting. I might be cut up, who knows. The sun started going down on me, so I can't see the gar too good to get a shot, but I did get a couple of shots at one. But I did get me a decent little catfish so far. Look at that. That's a nice looking little channel cat. That's going to make some good fillets for dinner. That's going to be my dinner tonight, and we'll see if we can't get any more up through here. Well, the good news is for this trip, I did not skunk out. I've got me a decent catfish. I've still got a couple lines up through here to check, see if I got anything else. But anyway, I guess it's time for me to head on towards the house and fillet out this catfish, and maybe we'll do a catch and cook. Let's see if we can do a catch and cook on this and, you know, kind of finish it off right. Anyway, I'll let you guys go for right now. I got a couple other guys up there fishing with the little kids. They're up there after some bluegill. But anyway, we're going to sneak on past them and get on out of here and do a catch a cook. Well, I checked this line here, and bait was stripped off of it, and I've checked 4 more, and they were gone. I use a 65-pound braided line, and 4 of my lines have been popped, so that tells you there's some big old fish up in here. Hopefully we got one on this last line up here. We'll see. You guys fishing off the right side or the left side? Both? Alright, well I'm going to try to squeeze on by you. I don't want to mess up your fishing there. Alright, well I'm going to swing on the left. I see a bobber over there on the right. Alright. End of the trip. I'm just happy I didn't skunk out. I did try my homemade bow fishing rig, which worked really good, but they were pretty spooky today, so by the time I started getting a shot, they would take off. So I didn't really get a decent shot at any of them. I mean, I tried, but they were already on the move, taking off whenever I took a shot. But it worked good. Let's go home and clean this fish. Guys, if you go fishing, pick up after yourselves. I mean, there ain't no sense in not picking up after yourself. Please pick up after yourself. You see any trash or whatever, pick it up, because all you're doing is just keeping the water cleaner for everybody else. Yeah, I'm up the hill. I'm at the back of the truck, and all I do with my kayak is lift it up a little bit, slide it up underneath my toolbox, and then I got a piece of paracord here and one over there, and I just kind of cross tie it. It don't go nowhere. But I figured I'd show you how sorry, that hill's rough. But I figured I'd show you how to tie my kayak in real quick. And alright, let's go on to the house. Here's the catfish we caught today, and I'm going to go ahead and fillet him out with an electric knife, and then we'll start battering him up and fry him and throw some veggies with him too. But anyway, I don't have a cameraman, so I'm going to have to fillet him out off camera. But there's a lot of videos on YouTube about how to fillet out a catfish real quick, and I'm going to use the electric knife trick. And if I could ever find a cameraman, or you know, somebody that'll help me videotape this, and we can get a lot more on camera. But anyway, here comes the catch a cook. So what I've got here is some just cheap yellow cornmeal, and I'm going to grind up some sea salt in there just a little bit, and we've got some garlic pepper. You can pick up this garlic pepper at Dollar General. It's pretty cheap, but it's a really good seasoning, so we're going to throw a bunch of garlic pepper in here. I'm going to add a lot more garlic pepper than that. And we have some Tony Satcher's original Creole seasoning, and we're going to sprinkle some Creole seasoning in the cornmeal. Now, I'm not going to add any egg or milk or anything like that, because the fillets are going to be sticky as it is. And the cornmeal is going to, there we go, now we got some garlic pepper. Anyway, the stickiness or the moisture in the fillets is going to stick this cornmeal and seasoning mix to the fillets really well. And I'm going to use I hit the button. Anyway, I'm going to use a copper pan on my stove with some olive oil, and I'm just going to pan sear this fillet in this mix in olive oil in that pan until it's a nice golden brown. The electric knife fillet trick, you want to come up here and find the rib cage, and you see the rib cage right there. So you want to take the electric knife and put it at the angle of the ribs, right there at the last rib, and you want to hit the button and cut it on down to the backbone. And once you reach the backbone, you're going to flip that knife sideways and still leave it at about a 5-degree angle and fillet that down to right about here on the tail. And you want to still leave a little flap of skin on the tail to hold that fillet. And then you lift the knife up and flip that fillet over. And then when you fillet it off of the skin, you want to leave that knife at a steeper angle, probably a 45-degree angle, and just peel it right on off that skin. You'll just have a real pretty fillet. Anyway, I'm going to stop the video so I can do this, because I can't do this one-handed. And I'll show you the results of the fillet. So there's your fillet right there with an electric knife. You don't have to skin, gut the fish, nothing like that. Just take an electric knife, do what I said, and you'll wind up with some real pretty fillets like that. And that thing's going to look really good in cornmeal rolled up in those seasonings that I just put in there. And it's going to turn out beautiful in the pan. Oil heating up. We got our catfish fillets ready. They've already been rolled in the cornmeal, satchers, and garlic pepper. And they're just about ready to go in the pan. I don't like a whole lot of breading, so I just do this real light breading on there, because I'd rather have more catfish than I would breading. But we're fixing to throw them in once that oil heats up and get them frying up. We got our oil hot. We got our catfish in the cornmeal, Creole, and garlic butter. And we're going to throw those in that pan, let them sear out. And after they just about get done, I'm going to throw me some onions and mushrooms in there. Oh man, it's going to be a good meal today. My catfish is about halfway done. I just flipped it, and oh man, it looks so good. I'm going to throw me some mushrooms and some green onions in there and let them cook in with that catfish. So we're going to go with a handful of onions in there. A handful of mushrooms, handful of green onions. Now we grab our green onions we just chopped up. Oh man, I just wasted an onion. The humanity of it. But you don't want to get your onions and mushrooms overdone. So that's why I wait until it's about halfway done before I start throwing in any onions or mushrooms. And we have a light, flaky cornmeal crust on that catfish right now. You see that catfish is just about done. Light, flaky, juicy, fresh. Don't y'all wish y'all were here? I just love torturing people with food videos, if I can. What I do is I get one side of the catfish done, and then I throw the onions and mushrooms in, and I keep testing the mushrooms until they get nice and tender, which they're about halfway there right now. But I just test them with the point of the knife and just see how much pressure it takes to poke a hole in that mushroom. And like I said, they're about halfway there now, but they should be just about the weight of a knife. We'll cut them, and they're about halfway there. So you see this mushroom right here? And if I just set the knife on the edge of that mushroom, it just cuts right through it real easy. Alright, the mushrooms are now done, because I still like having a little texture to my mushrooms. And I don't like the onions being soggy. And if I lift up this fillet, you can see the other side of that fillet is just a nice golden brown. And it's still tender. I mean, the knife just falls right through that fillet. So it's ready. I'll plate it up, and what's that? That's a nice frosty mug right there. Oh, with a nice cold beer. Don't y'all wish y'all went fishing today? Look what you're missing out on. Anyway, I guess we'll see you next time, and I'm going to enjoy my beer and my catfish and onions, and you know, these are wild onions. So anyway, I'm going to enjoy my meal, and y'all could just sit back here and wish you went fishing today. Maybe we'll see you out there sometime. Oh man, that catfish for dinner was good. Shoot, if y'all get out there on the creeks, maybe y'all can come out fishing with me sometime too. Anyway, like, subscribe, comment, and all that good stuff, you know. And we'll see if we can't keep putting up some content a little bit more frequently. See you again next time.